relax, be cool. Cause if you don't, you'll act like a fool, so be cool.
Hey everybody, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk TV shows.
War. War never changes.
Fallout.
Let me tell you about an ancient tale.
Created by Interplay Entertainment and Black Isle Studios, the hit video game franchise began its life all the way back in 1997
with playing games with my heart.
on the PC, an isometric turn-based RPG about a vault dweller venturing out into the post-apocalyptic world of the United States, facing off against violent people, scary zombies, and other assorted violent and scary monsters.
When these video games become so violent and scary!
All in the name of saving the world. The game proved to not just be a great hit, but it helped revitalize interest in the RPG genre, has been labeled as one of the greatest video games of all time, and would go on to make sequels. Fallout 2 in 1998, also a huge hit. Interplay shut down Black Isle Studios, a story for another time and by another content creator, or you can just look it up on Wikipedia. Other games got released, but no one cares. The IP has since found a home with Bethesda, and in 2008 released Fallout 3. A radical change in the franchise's identity, turning it into an open-world 3D shooter RPG. This is where I came into the franchise, by the way. 2009 saw the release of Fallout New Vegas, this time developed by Obsidian Entertainment, which consisted of devs who had worked on the first Fallout games, which gave it a more authentic feel to it, and is considered by many, including myself, to be the superior modern Fallout game. Sure, it was a glitch bonanza, but what do you expect when you're given a measly year to work on the bloody thing? And Bethesda denied a bonus to Obsidian, who failed to achieve an 85 on Metacritic by one lousy point. You know, Bethesda's scummy practices went further back than we think, didn't it? The franchise is going strong to this day. I'm sorry, I couldn't say that with a straight face. Nah, Fallout 4 was fine, if not a game that should have been better than it was, but Fallout 76 tarnished Bethesda's reputation, and they haven't recovered since. Though I do credit this shit show for getting me into Fleetwood Mac.
We made a real one.
Wait, what?
And I want to be clear, actually, that feature is not coming out at launch.
Todd.
But there was hope. A new Fallout TV show was announced, being made by Amazon.
But you have not seen what I've seen.
I have seen my share.
You have not seen what I have seen.
Can you feel the hype tonight? Actually, there was quite a bit of hype when the trailer dropped, because it looked great. The sets, the costumes, Walton Goggins, well, he's just a sexy man in general, isn't he? Whether or not he is going full Voldemort. But some of that hype died out a little bit when Jonathan Nolan's brain wasn't firing on full cylinders and said this. Amazon's Fallout TV director says he's not trying to please fans. Now, I fully admit this, there's a lot of context that I haven't gotten into. This isn't what he was really saying. He has played the games, although it's probably probably more of the modern games than the first two. Yeah, let's be real here, dude. Video games and their fans are getting attacked by producers all the time. And also, let's be real again, you're just producing, and that can mean anything. You're only credited for directing 3 of the 8 episodes and written none of them. So let's not pretend you're handcrafting this shindig. But you know what? Benefit of the doubt. I don't review TV shows very often. I have a vested interest in the Fallout franchise, so this seemed worth it to me. So, okie dokie. This is my honest opinion of Amazon's Fallout. 200 years ago, the United States and China were at war with each other. This resulted in nuclear bombs falling, destroying US society, and witnessing the catastrophe was famed cowboy actor Cooper Howard. In the present day, in a highly advanced fallout shelter called Vault 33, Lucy McLean, played by Ella Purnell, is about to be married off to the son of the leader of the adjacent Vault 32. However, it turns out that they're actually from the Wasteland surface who invade and nearly kill every Vault 33 dweller, though are thwarted, but not before the leader of 33, Overseer Hank McLean, played by Kyle MacLachlan, is captured by the Raider leader Moldaver, played by Sarita Chowdhury. Lucy decides to set out to the surface world to locate her father. In the militaristic Brotherhood of Steel, young initiate Maximus, played by Aaron Moten, has dreams to become a knight. Despite a rocky start, he is given a chance to serve under a knight on a mission to locate a missing scientist named Wilzig. The mission goes sideways when the knight is killed, and Maximus takes on the role of the knight. Cooper Howard, having survived the Great War, now lives as a flesh-rotting ghoul and a mercenary who is awakened from a grave for a bounty put on the very same Wilzig that the Brotherhood is after, and takes the bounty.
Where are you taking him?
To the real world. You should see it sometime.
Oh yeah, I had a whole hell of a lot of fun with this one. It's everything that I could have hoped for out of a Fallout adaptation, and I couldn't be happier with it. Is it perfect? No. Does it always make sense from a narrative or even a world-building standpoint? Not always, but it's so much fun. Now, let's start this off by talking about the characters, as they're always a standout in the games. The core cast is nothing short of awesome. Honestly, it feels very close to how Fallout 3 is set up. Protagonist has a dad who leaves the vault under mysterious circumstances, and it's up to the offspring to leave said vault to find them. Has minimal weaponry, no idea what's in store for them on the surface. Even the first monster encountered is a radroach. Classic.
People joked about cockroaches surviving a nuclear blast, but they didn't merely survive. They improved.
But what makes Lucy so great is her optimistic attitude that is so adorably misplaced in the Wasteland. Every scene is just her trying to do the right thing and convince others to do the right thing. To no avail generally, but the good intentions are always there.
Hands up on the count of 3. Ready? Why?
The closest criticism I have when it comes to her is in episode 5, The Past, where she reunites with Maximus, who is trapped in his suit of armor. He begs her to let him out, but her trust in strangers has waned and refuses.
I really want to believe you, but practically every person I've met up here has tried to kill me, so...
The problem is, at the end of episode 4, The Ghouls, it ends with her showing a weakened Cooper compassion, despite selling her off for drugs. Wait, so someone who did something that nearly cost her her life, she shows compassion for. But Maximus, who up to that point has done nothing to her, this time she refuses to stand by her golden rule. That felt out of character, but I think it was more of an issue with clumsy writing to justify her need for the rat-away that Maximus has when she starts getting really sick from ingesting radiated water.
Now you're good now.
Not my favorite excuse to break character, but it lasts only that long, and she goes back to being her usual self. It's only toward the end of the season, which I obviously won't spoil, where you really feel for her. Frankly, I can't wait to see what they do with her character in season 2, if it happens.
I always relish a challenge. Speech skills. My primary passion is teaching American history with a focus on ethics.
Maximus is a complicated matter for me. On the surface, he's arguably the most complex character out of the main trio. In episode 2, The Target, Max is assigned to be the squire to knight Titus, played by Michael Trustworthy Rappaport. However, it turns out that Titus is a douchebag. He tries to get Max to fight an irradiated bear, a Yaoguai as Fallout fans will know them, despite the fact that Max has no armor. This backfires on Titus when he's attacked instead and gravely injured. He could have survived his wounds had Max given him a stim pack, but Max decides that he's had enough of his abuse and lets him die.
You don't deserve that armor.
You think you do?
He dons the armor, tells HQ that Maximus died, and assumes the identity of Titus.
We were attacked. By an abomination. My squire, he fell in battle. He died with honor.
But Titus gets a replacement squire. Now the gears are turning. He gets to boss this squire around like Titus did to him. Granted, this squire was one of the jerks that used to beat him up at boot camp, so it's not like it's coming out of a vacuum. The point I'm trying to make about Max is that he feels like he's written to be a more soft-spoken version of Lucy, idealistic and wants to do good in the world. But what with their similar personalities, they just had to make at least one of them a bit more harsh. So they make Max let a dude die to give him more dimension. If that wasn't enough, the lie he told to Brotherhood HQ about Max dying and Titus being alive, he continues to lie when Lucy saves him from his armor.
Please.
What's your name?
I'm not Titus.
I'm no psychologist, but I like to think that when you lie, it's because you gain something from it, or you're mentally ill and just pathological. Neither fits that criteria for Max. If there's anyone whom he didn't have to lie to, it was her. Lying to the Brotherhood, understandable. To Lucy, I don't get it.
You can trust me. And I'm from a place where the worst someone can do to you is forget to say thank you.
But as seems to be the theme of the show, if I have complaints, something in the wings makes it not so bad. Mainly, I enjoy the chemistry and the bonding between him and Lucy, for the most part. Sure, I think his arc when they both wind up in Vault 4 in Episode 6 The Trap is incredibly wonky, as it neither takes much for him to feel comfortable in a vault, nor does it take much for him to completely abandon it either. The rest of his journey levels out into making him a solid character, but he definitely has the most peaks and valleys out of any of the core cast.
You are the best stranger that I've ever met. You're a good person, Titus.
Finally is Cooper Howard, who is probably the character that's designed to be the least likable. But the writing for him is so much better. The jumping between the present and his pre-war life certainly helps. He was a modest actor, trying to provide for his family. However, despite constantly shilling for the shady Vault Tech company, doing adverts for them, he doesn't trust them.
Are those mandatory? What if I don't want to wear a blue jumpsuit? What if I want to wear a green one?
So the bomb falls and you want to know about your wardrobe?
No, I want to know about my freedom.
Essentially, it's a long journey that explains how we went from that world to the wasteland. The centuries of survival have not only made him a ghoul, but a grizzled killer who can tango with pretty dangerous ruffians. Granted, the fact that he can hold his own against a fully armored Brotherhood knight is because Maximus isn't a great fighter, but it still counts. He's ruthless, unfeeling, and does some pretty despicable things later on, which includes killing 2 sons of a farmer that I guess he knows. Actually, this better have some payoff in season 2 because this doesn't make a lick of sense. The point is, Cooper has an equally great arc in the past and has some badass moments in the present. And of course, Goggins is fantastic, which helps a lot.
There's always some new little faction out there. Brand new team of believers with their own dumbass ideas about how they gonna save the world.
As a fan of the franchise, there's so many callbacks to the games that got me giddy with excitement that only fans would appreciate. I think it's beyond impressive that this show has as much practical effects as it does. And even the CG isn't half bad. Even when it's obvious, the showrunners knew they had to bring their creative A game. Take the Gulper, for example. Yes, it's different from the Far Harbor DLC. The game's changed the look of the Mirelurks. I don't see no one complaining about that. Anyway, the inside of the Gulper's mouth is disturbing as all hell. Yes, those are human fingers. And yes, this is explained in a couple episodes. But as obvious as the effects are, it's still good enough to elicit an awful reaction out of me. Creativity over realism triumphs in this case. Now, do I have any other issues with the show? Yes, I do. Let's just say Moldover's story doesn't really make sense. Maybe this will be explained in the next season, but considering how things end, it feels like it won't be a satisfying reveal.
I think I know who you are.
Everyone knows who I am.
The entire episode of The Trap feels like one big prolonged excuse to romantically link Lucy and Max, though how everything is resolved in episode 7, The Radio, was legitimately funny. Still, kind of annoyed by the romance between the two characters, period. By the way, hello Fred Armisen. Not a negative, just wanted to point him out because it made me smile.
The thing no one appreciates is these are the original recordings. Critics.
That's the best way to describe this show. It puts a smile on my face. I had fun with it. Yes, I've said that about 1 billion times now, but I mean it. Yeah, okay, it breaks some lore, but the games have done that, as long as they're not too egregious, and nothing really stood out to upset me, so yeah, all that's left to say is I can't wait for season 2. My honest rating for Amazon's Fallout, a strong 4 out of 5.
Everyone wants to save the world, they disagree on how.
Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Hit that like or dislike button. All engagement is welcome. Please subscribe to the channel if you like the content that I make. And anyway, have a great day. Stay safe and healthy out there. Hope to see you soon.
Don't take time to sleep, eat or drink, but just remember that it's later than you think. So be cool. Just relax. So be cool. Face facts.